September, Leading Age Maryland is highlighting workforce development efforts across the aging services sector. There are many inspiring and encouraging stories of how our member organizations have grown employees from within the ranks. Joining me today is Brandon Moss from CSI Support and Development to share about his experiences. So thanks so much for being here today, Brandon. Can you tell me a bit about your professional background, what you studied in school, and how you got involved in aging services?
Well, it's good to be here, first of all. And I think I fell into aging services like most folks do. I don't think I was necessarily looking for it. Although there is a growing number of folks who are actually looking for aging services, and I'm thrilled about that. And I think that they're going to find that it's an excellent field to be looking for, and they're doing the right thing. I think they're going to find some good stuff. For me, I went to University of Maryland, College Park. I studied essentially sociology. I mean, it was American Studies was a focus, with a focus in sociology, social justice. I got a minor in African American Studies. So it was very kind of sociological based. And I think my viewpoint has always been that I'm interested in kind of how groups work, like how do things work in a larger scale. And so you say, well, what does it do with affordable housing? It didn't, not directly. But I do find, and actually was told this by a mentor, that in the world that I'm in with affordable senior housing, it's a mix of a lot of different industries. We have property management, we have working with seniors on the aging services side, we have housing. There's so many different pieces to kind of what we're doing. Our organization happens to be nonprofit as well, so there's a lot of layers. And of course, our cooperative management system is very unique as well, which sociology helps out with. But the cool thing about aging services is I got into it like a lot of people did, just looking for a job. And I found a career, I found a path, and I found an opportunity to explore a lot of things that I didn't necessarily anticipate being able to explore. So for me, as someone who kind of has a lot of different areas that I find interesting, from business to sociology to real estate to working with people in different ways individually, leadership, all those kind of different areas you touch, at least for me, in the aging services field. And I got into it by answering a job ad and getting hired. That's the short version.
Thanks for sharing that. And I know that you've been at CSI for how many years?
Oh yeah. So I've been at CSI for 18 years. It'll
So
be
you
it'll
s-
be it'll be 19 at the end of this year.
so you answered that job ad and you started in a position, and then can you share a bit about how you kind of grew? Because now you're the regional manager, so you oversee all of Maryland. But can you
Yeah.
tell us kind of where you started and how you got to 18 years later now being the boss?
Yeah, again, not the plan. I was just I was just working. I was just, I found something I really enjoyed and I kept doing it, and it ended up working out long term. But I know a lot of folks bounce around. I know a lot of people have tried a bunch of different careers and businesses and have moved up by moving to different organizations. And so being able to stay in one organization moving has been really cool. Basically what happened was I started out as a entry level property management level person. So I came in and I worked with two different properties. We call them co-ops here, and I was able to uh, do that for a few years and really enjoyed it. And an opportunity came up in our office for an education coordinator, which is our person here that's in charge of training, putting together all of our documentation, paperwork, training for our volunteer members, as well as some of our staff as well. So I did that for several years, really enjoyed it, put together a lot of cool events and trainings, and rewrote as many books as I could because I like to write as well. So I got a chance to update things. That was a lot of fun. Eventually, there was an opportunity that was created for an operations manager, where I got a chance to actually oversee the day-to-day management of all of our sites. And we had, I think we had 10 or 11 at the time. We have 13 now. And then our regional manager, who hired me originally years ago, actually retired, and I was able to move up into her job, and now I run the Maryland office.
That's so cool. What what do you feel was helpful in you kind of moving into those new positions? So, was it something that someone else in the organization was like, "Hey, Brandon, I think you should apply for this," or were you kind of taking the initiative to be like, "I want to apply for this because I think I'd be good at this job or I'd enjoy it"? How did you kind of move into those roles?
Each situation was a little bit different. I mean, sometimes it was someone coming to me and saying, "Hey, we think you'd be a good fit for this," and sometimes it was me saying, "Hey, I think I'd be a good fit for this." Uh, and sometimes I was right, sometimes I was wrong. It depends, it's essentially what opportunities actually kind of come together at some point.
Mhm.
I don't know that you can really force it. Opportunities come up, and if it's right, you jump on it, and it ends up working out.
Yeah.
Um, so for each one, it was a little bit different. I mean, the first time
Mhm.
I moved, I was a little hesitant. I was like, well, I don't know. I wasn't necessarily looking for that kind of a role. But after talking about it and saying I remember saying to my boss at the time, I said, well, I think I'd be interested in it, but I'd really like to do it this whole other way. So obviously, this isn't going to work out. And they said, oh, that's great. That's exactly what we wanted you to do. I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll be doing that then. And to her credit, I got a chance to do it that whole other way and learned a ton and was able to hopefully provide some value. And the next opportunity that came up, I was actually going for. I was like, hey, I really want this. I think this is gonna be awesome. And I will say that being operations manager was a ton of fun. It was super hard, but super interesting, super dynamic. And I thought we had a really good. That was a really great experience for me.
Yeah.
And then the regional manager opportunity came up, and that one was kind of interesting in the way it flowed as well. It was very much a um, I don't know. It was interesting. It was kind of just kind of assumed that was going to be at that point. They're like, well, obviously he's gonna be the next one. So it just kind of continued to
Mhm.
grow and evolve in that way. So each one was a little bit different.
That's great. So, what's the most rewarding part of your job now?
There's so many rewarding parts. I mean, the most rewarding part for me has always been working with the seniors. They are the most fun part for sure. And I'm trying to think, like when I first started, I was spending a lot of time with the
Mhm.
seniors. In our particular structure, it's a lot of on the ground, day to day, working through things. Now, obviously, I'm kind of supporting the teams that are supporting the members, and so I'm not quite as directly involved. But that's still the best part when I get to do that either one on one or directly, or even just talking with our team about
Mhm.
how do we support the seniors. It just seems to be the part of aging services if you're working with folks who are older adults, who are seniors, depending on what language you want to use. And to me, that's always been the most rewarding part.
Yeah.
As a supervisor and a boss and a leader, the most rewarding part is seeing people grow for sure.
Mhm.
Really, you work so hard to try to bring in the right folks that are a good fit for them and for us. Like that's I
Mhm.
always tell people in the interviews, like I want I want you to feel like this is a good fit as much as we want it to be a good fit, and then seeing people grow. And so those are the kind of the best things for me.
Yeah. What what kinds of examples of workforce development programs, either within CSI or in other organizations, have you seen to be successful? So you talk about kind of not only finding the right people, but how do you help them stay and help them grow? Are there specific programs or initiatives that you've seen be successful?
That's really interesting. I, you know, there's I think there's informal ways to do it, and that really is. I mean, you have to have leadership that's interested in being your organization being a growth organization, meaning that the organization is going to grow, but the people inside of it are going to grow as well. And I've been very fortunate to be a part of an organization that does a lot of hiring from within,
Mhm.
training from within. And then there's the more formal side of things where if you talk about workforce development, one of the great ways is just all these different trainings, industry groups. You can learn a lot from engaging in leading age
Mhm.
with the different leadership programs and training programs that are there. I did a lot with IREM, the Institute of Real Estate Management, that I found mentors and took classes and things of that nature. And so I think if you find that, oh, this is a direction I'm interested in going, there's a lot of different industry groups and trainings that are available out there for whatever you're interested in the aging services field. There is a robust community of people and trainings and connections that can help you grow individually. And then it's about finding the right organization and the right leadership.
Mhm. Yeah. What advice would you give for someone who's interested in maybe being in a senior leadership role in aging services one day? Maybe they've just started out, or they're in kind of a middle management position and they're wanting to
Mhm.
just continue to grow. What advice would you give them?
Uh, Jeff Bezos says, as a, Jeff Bezos, the guy who
Mhm.
started Amazon, like the most successful company in the history of America. Uh, he has a quote that I really like where he says, "You have to be really stubborn about your goals and very flexible about the path to get there." Um, I'm sure he says it more eloquently than that, but that's the concept that I walked away with.
That was really eloquent.
Oh, good. All right. So then use that. That's what he said.
Okay.
um, so I think if that is your goal, and I think you should absolutely set goals. I mean, I remember starting out saying, okay, I want to be in a leadership role. What does that look like? One of the first things I did was I just Googled all the leaders of different organizations that I could find to find out what does their resume say. Like if you the higher, depending on how up you go, the highest up you go in the organization, now you can go on the website and see what the bio is for the top, 20 people in the organization. What did they do? What was their experience? What was their training? What classes did they take? What degrees did they have? Those are things that I found interesting. And so I literally just did that. I said, oh, I think I want to go that way. And I just started researching those people. And then I started meeting some of those people. And then, got a chance to spend time with my boss who was right here. So what was your process? What was your path? And so we set the goal, set the intention. And then the rest of it was just working towards that. I would say the most important thing, once you know what the goal is you have to spend a lot of time working on you, right? Because that's the most important thing. Work on the job for sure, do a great job. You got to do that. But that's a natural outgrowth to me of you working on you, both in terms of your knowledge, your skills, but your soft skills, your strengths and weaknesses. Nothing will highlight your weaknesses and strengths more than leadership. I mean, it is a microscope, and it is a bright light. And so you will have an opportunity as you kind of move up the ladder to see, oh wow, this is a real area of sensitivity or difficulty, or an area that I got to get stronger in. Maybe I need to be better with accounting. Maybe that's something that I thought I was okay with, but I need to get stronger in handling finances. Maybe it's some soft skills of leadership, communication. How do I word things in a way that's empowering for my team as they grow? And what is it that are the strengths and weaknesses? They're going to be apparent, and we all have them. The point is that we spend time growing and getting better. So build you up so that when you're in that higher level position, you have the capacity to manage it and then grow again from there. Understand you're generally not going to walk into a new position and be 100% ready day one, right? If you are, then aim higher. Because, you should come in with certainly some skills and some things that can help day one, but with some room to roam, some room to grow, and to grow into the position. Hopefully you're growing into new positions as well. So keep working on yourself, set a goal and intention, and be willing to grow at each level. And that would be my advice to anybody looking to grow in any industry, really, but certainly aging services.
That's great. I feel like you should put that on like a bookmark or something and sell it.
Yeah, this is recorded, right? I'm
Yeah.
gonna go back and this is gonna go in my book.
I love it. Well, is there anything else that we haven't talked about that you'd like to share? Any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I think we've covered a lot of really good ground here today. I think that I want to highlight, I guess, for folks who, wherever you are in your journey, um, try to chase good leadership and good organizations. That's going to be the top thing. I know money is an important thing, and definitely, you want to grow in that place. Growth in general is always good, but finding good leadership and good organizations will will open up doors, opportunities, training that you just can't fake. And it's the kind of stuff that you definitely want to find with good leadership. So that's what I would say. Chase good leaders, good organizations, and then continue to work hard on yourself. I think you have the best chance to grow and move forward.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us today, Brandon. It's been great chatting. And we look forward to seeing you again soon.
All right, sounds good. Thanks.
Thanks.
Good luck, everybody.